Here's something most people don't realize. You can't understand money until you understand debt. I've met people earning six figures who are financially stressed. I've met people earning modest incomes who are financially free. The difference isn't income, it's understanding. Specifically, understanding how debt works. Most people think of debt as simple borrowing. I borrowed $10,000. I owe $10,000. But that's only the surface. Underneath, debt is a complex force that either builds wealth or destroys it depending on how you use it. Today, I'm going to show you what debt actually is, how it really works, and why understanding it is absolutely fundamental to financial literacy. I'm also going to show you two people, one who understood debt and one who didn't, and how that single difference created completely different financial outcomes. If you want to be truly literate with money, you need to understand this. Let's dive in. Before I explain debt, I need to establish something important. Debt is not inherently good or bad. It's a tool. Like any tool, it can build or destroy depending on how you use it. Most financial education demonizes all debt, like they tell you to get out of debt, never borrow. That's incomplete thinking. Wealthy people use debt strategically. Poor people use debt reflexively. Understanding the difference is what separates those who build wealth from those who struggle. Here's what we're going to cover. First, I'm going to explain what debt actually is, not the surface definition, but the deep mechanics. Then I'm going to walk through different types of debt and how they function differently. After that, I'm going to share a detailed case study of two people, one who understood debt, one who didn't, and show you how that understanding created massively different outcomes. Finally, I'm going to give you a framework for thinking about debt correctly. By the end, you'll understand not just what debt is, but why it's fundamental to understanding money itself. Let's start. Most people define debt as money you owe. That's technically true, but completely surface level. Here's the deeper definition. Debt is the monetization of your future labor. When you borrow money today, you're agreeing to give up future income to repay it. You're selling a portion of your future earnings for cash today. Let me make this concrete. You borrow $50,000 for a car. You're not just borrowing $50,000. You're committing to paying that back through money you'll earn over the next 5 years. That's real money from your future. That's future labor already allocated to creditors. Here's what's critical about this. Debt is a claim on your future. Every dollar you owe is a dollar you can't use for anything else tomorrow. That's why debt matters so much to wealth building. Think about it this way. If you earn $50,000 annually and have no debt, you can theoretically allocate that entire $50,000 to your financial future. Investments, assets, wealth building. But if you have $15,000 in debt payments annually, only $35,000 is available for your future. That $15,000 is gone. It's a claim on your income paid to creditors. This is why debt is so fundamental to understanding money. Money is time. Debt is a claim on your time. Until you understand that your future income is being claimed by past borrowing, you don't really understand money at all. This is where most people lose the plot. They understand they owe money. They don't understand how much money compounds against them through interest. Let me show you the real mechanics. Let's say you borrow $5,000 on a credit card at 17% annual interest, and you make minimum payments of $100 monthly. In month one, you owe $5,000. The interest that month is $71. Your payment is $100. So $41 goes to principal, $61 goes to interest. You've paid $100 but only reduced your debt by $41. In month two, your balance is $4,959. Interest that month is $70. Your payment is still $156 to principal, $70 to interest. See the pattern? You're paying $100, but interest is eating up more than half of it. The rest goes to principal reduction. This continues month after month. Here's the kicker. If you only make minimum payments on that $5,000 credit card, it takes you 84 months, 7 years, to pay it off. You'll have paid approximately $8,400 total. You borrowed $5,000. You paid back $8,400. That $3,400 in interest is the cost of borrowing. But here's what's even worse. That $5,000 you borrowed, it's gone. Spent. You have nothing to show for it. Probably purchased stuff you don't remember owning. You paid $8,400 for past consumption you no longer benefit from. This is the critical insight. Interest is exponential against you. The longer you carry debt, the more you pay in interest relative to principal. That's why high-interest debt is a wealth killer. It's not just the $5,000 you borrowed, it's the $8,400 you'll actually pay. Now here's the important part. Not all debt is the same. Bad debt is debt for consumption. You borrow to buy stuff you consume, and then it's gone. The credit card example above is bad debt. You bought something, you paid interest, you now have nothing but the payment obligation. Good debt is debt for assets. You borrow to purchase something that appreciates or generates income. A mortgage on a house you'll own for 30 years. That's good debt. The house appreciates. You build equity. You're not paying interest on consumption. You're paying interest while building an asset. Let me show you the math. A 30-year mortgage at 4% interest on a $300,000 house. Your monthly payment is approximately $1,430. Over 30 years, you'll pay about $515,000 total. But you own a house that appreciated in value significantly. Compare that to a credit card purchase. You pay more in total. You own nothing. The difference is massive. Similarly, business debt can be good debt. You borrow $100,000 to start a business generating $50,000 in annual profit. You're paying interest, but the business is generating returns exceeding the interest cost. Over time, you build equity and income. The principle, good debt, is leveraging today's capital to build assets or income that exceeds the cost of the debt. Bad debt is paying interest for past consumption. Here's where understanding debt becomes absolutely critical. Debt directly undermines your ability to build wealth. Let me show you two scenarios. Both people earn $50,000 annually. Both invest in the stock market. Person A has no debt, $50,000 income, lives on $35,000, invests $15,000 annually. Over 20 years at 8% returns, that $15,000 invested annually becomes approximately $535,000. Person B has $15,000 in annual debt payments. $50,000 income minus $15,000 debt equals $35,000 available. Lives on $30,000. Invests $5,000 annually. Over 20 years, that $5,000 annually becomes approximately $180,000, same income, dramatically different outcomes. The difference? Debt claims on future income. Here's the psychological damage. Person B isn't aware that debt is destroying their wealth-building capacity. They see they're investing. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But $15,000 of income is flowing to creditors. Compound interest is being denied the opportunity to work on their behalf. Instead, compound interest is working against them through their debt payments. This is why debt understanding is so fundamental. You can't build wealth effectively while servicing high debt. The debt claims on your future income are mathematically more powerful than your investment returns. Let me share two case studies showing how debt understanding creates completely different outcomes. Michael started at age 25 earning $40,000. His first major decision, buying a car. He saw a $30,000 luxury vehicle. He financed it with a $500 monthly payment. He also had student loans, $30,000 at 6% interest, approximately $300 monthly. Total monthly debt service, $800. Michael didn't really think about this. He knew he had payments, but he didn't understand that $800 of his income was already claimed before he even spent it on living expenses. His story. Michael graduated, got a job, bought a car, and carried debt. For the next 15 years, he paid car loans, student loans, then a mortgage. He saved money occasionally, but never accumulated significant wealth. At age 40, he had some home equity, but was still stressed about money despite making a reasonable income. He didn't understand that his debt claims were preventing wealth accumulation. He thought he was doing okay. In reality, he was running on a treadmill. His income was high enough to cover payments, but not high enough to build real wealth. Jessica started at age 25, earning the same $40,000. Her first decision, understanding her financial situation completely. Jessica calculated her baseline income, $40,000 annually. She understood that every dollar spent today was a dollar not working for her future. She made intentional decisions about debt. She accepted her student loans, $30,000 at 6%. They were mandatory, and the rate was reasonable for wealth-building purposes. But she decided absolutely no additional debt. No car payment, no credit cards, no impulse borrowing. She drove a 12-year-old car she purchased with cash, $6,000 she'd saved before age 25. She lived in a modest apartment with roommates. She lived on $25,000 annually and invested $15,000. Her story, Jessica had the same income as Michael. Different debt decisions. Over 15 years, while Michael was paying off cars and managing various debts, Jessica was compounding investments. At age 40, Jessica had approximately $300,000 invested, was considering purchasing her first rental property, and had minimal debt. Michael had similar salary, but was still struggling. The difference? Debt understanding. Michael didn't understand that his debt was preventing wealth building. Jessica understood that every dollar of debt was a claim on future wealth building, so she avoided it strategically. The irony, Michael eventually read financial advice saying he should invest more. He tried to follow that advice, but he couldn't because his income was already claimed by debt. Jessica had the freedom to invest because she'd understood debt from the beginning. The lesson: understanding debt isn't just about avoiding bad borrowing. It's about understanding that every financial decision is interconnected. Debt understanding informs every other financial decision you make. Let me crystallize the core message. Debt is a claim on your future income. It's not just money you owe. It's future labor already allocated. Interest is exponential against you on bad debt. 7 years paying $8,400 for $5,000 borrowed shows the power of interest. Good debt builds assets. Bad debt consumes. Understanding the difference is critical. Debt prevents wealth building. $50,000 in income with $15,000 in debt claims means only $35,000 is available for wealth building. Debt creates invisible psychological constraints. You make decisions driven by payment obligations rather than optimization. Understanding debt is fundamental to understanding money. Until you grasp how debt works, you don't truly understand financial mechanics. Most importantly, you can't build wealth while carrying high debt. The mathematical and psychological constraints are too powerful. Debt understanding is the foundation of financial literacy. If this content was valuable, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel. I release new content every week on understanding money, debt strategy, building wealth, and financial literacy. Subscribe so you don't miss it.